time we finally hear each other, it's like that Spider-Man meme when you're like, you got it? You got
it? For real, though.
Man.
Disclaimer, if you guys hear a lot of coughing and sneezing on my end, I'm going to try to mute it, but it's been a rough few days, so every time I laugh, you're going to get a right after.
Jeez.
It's inevitable.
Well, I mean, sometimes he's got that weird cough, too, like when you're trying to start up a car that's 50 years old.
Oh, my God. Well, I mean, I guess we should start there first. Like, just how's everybody doing? Everybody all right out there? You know, we don't get to see each other as much, obviously, because we're, for the most part, in different states and whatnot. But everybody doing good. You know,
go Blue State.
Minor health issues, you know?
Yeah, minor health issues here. I've been doing this class with Bobby, these workout classes. They got me signed up for. I drank the juice, but the last couple of weeks, right? Like I went for Labor Day, I went camping, and I had a knot in my back like the whole time, and it was like messing with my breathing and everything too. And I was like, I don't know what I did for have a knot in my back, right? So it finally went away after like a week. So then I show up again at the workout thing, and I'm like, okay, we're lifting the kettlebells. We're like chainsaw lift style, right? And the next day I had one on the other side, and it was just like, oh my God, I got to stop going to this place. It is every time I go to this place.
You stretch it beforehand?
No.
He's lifting with his back.
Bro, you is not 22 no more. You gonna have to stretch that thing out, bro. He's not early 20s no more. Remember those good days?
So it was that. So it was that, and then I've been having this problem with like the very top of like my kneecap has been hurt. Like if I leave my knee like in a bended position and straighten it out, like it'll hurt. You know, and I went and I told them, y'all got to stop with these like 6 station squats. Like y'all got to stop with this, all right?
All you need is you just need a little help from Brett Favre and Shaquille O'Neal. Copper Fit and Icy Hot. That's all you need. Right there. That's all you need.
Trust me, stretching goes a long way.
Yeah, well, yeah, because what he did, because what one of the guys did, he was just like, well, you have to roll out your thighs. And I'm like, what? Kind of. Anyway, and he was just like, so he brought out one of those big foam rollers, and he was like, this is why your knee hurts, because your patella tendon and all that. I bet you it's all tight in there. And I was like, all right. So he showed me how to roll my leg. He's like, does it hurt? I was like, yes. And he was like, yeah, that's why your knee hurts.
He's in there getting it.
But other than that, I'm doing all right. I'm not sick or nothing, so we're good.
So all right then. What's going on, Piglets? It's your boy Taylor B, and I'm joined by my proud to pull out co-host Daniel, Joey, and DJ. Welcome to another installment of Culture by the Uncultured.
I don't think that's correct.
Any further? Be sure to click that follow or subscribe button, and remember, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, SoundCloud, and I guess we're on Facebook too, and Twitter and Instagram and stuff. But I don't really care about that crap. Anyway,
we're on OnlyFans. And we're on.
You know I got 3 kids, right, Brendan?
Yeah. Well, let's exclude DJ from the proud to pull out thing. And I mean, I don't be pulling.
Can we make an OnlyFans? Can we just
cock
by the Uncultured?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I was gonna say we could just put our content on OnlyFans and put it behind a paywall, but not specifically. It don't gotta be sex. But I mean, hey man, you know. They decided to not take away the porn, so
like let's be honest. Who got OnlyFans and not doing that? Like, come on now.
Even
there's like 10% of those that don't do it, right?
Safari, they got like. Well, I have no idea. I think it started off as like a workout website or some shit like that at first. I don't remember. But anyway, we got quite the docket today, boys and girls.
We got to zoom it. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is definitely a lot. I don't want to start. Let's start off with sports again. I think that's a good place to start every time.
All right. Well, there goes 30 minutes. All right.
I got one sport. Hold on. Let's start with boxing. Donald Trump said he wants to fight Biden. He said he's gonna knock him out.
That's crazy.
The celebrity
boxing. Did we talk about the Jake fight with? Don't
nobody care about that.
Yeah, really, nobody cares about Jake Paul no more.
Just put black folks back another
I-
100 years.
I'll
I feel
entertain
like,
it,
but I mean,
Brandon. Just real quick, I'll entertain it. I
mean,
think
it's old news anyway. But
I think at first it was clearly a gimmick, and now that people have, you don't just train for boxing for a couple of months, for a couple of years. You don't just do that. He's gonna start building more of a credibility. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him on like one of Dana White's shows, The Next Fight or whatever. He might get his ass kicked, but I think I mean, he's rich already, so like he don't really need brain damage, so maybe it won't work out. But until people stop paying for it, I'm gonna keep watching it. I mean, I haven't paid for it yet. I'm just gonna watch the highlights, but at least he upped his game and went for a formidable, somewhat opponent, even though he's kind of washed up or whatever. But
I think his brother is
I don't know.
better.
He's not
to be
gonna
honest.
fight any present boxers.
Yeah, his brother probably is better. I don't even know his name, but I think his brother is better whenever it comes to boxing.
Logan.
He seems more Logan. He seems more humble. He seems more down to earth, while Jake just kind of seems like a huge distraction and someone that can just make a lot of noise.
Logan's the older brother, right?
Yeah, Logan's the older brother. Jake's the younger brother.
You kind of just sum that up right there. The younger brother is usually the one that goes a little crazier sometimes.
Chihuahua.
What white families anyway? I don't know about the other ones. But.
It sounds true. T.J. Watt and J.J. Watt. Yeah, seems like.
But you said Trump versus Biden. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I would pay money to see that.
I would fucking pay money to see both of them knock each other out. Now, to be honest, like real talk, we all got Trump, right? Like he's not in the best of shape, but Biden looks like he's a sneeze away from knocking out.
I think he would sleep Biden.
Okay, sure. Better question. Who you got?
All he's gonna do is throw a toupee at him and he's out.
Who you got? Biden or John McCain? All he do is throw the
McCain. McCain got military experience, right?
Yeah, but he's got the frozen elbows though. He can't do nothing but beside punches.
But McCain and slung so many elbows. I think he might need Tommy John. Like it's crazy.
Wow. Imagine, yeah, he didn't come after Obama like that. Obama served his ass. Listen here. Okay.
Obama.
And he's a
Obama punch him in the face and cross him up.
Exactly.
Southpaw.
Hilarious.
Oh man.
Well, sports. The Basketball Hall of Fame inductees got some good ones, really good ones. Paul Pierce, Ben Wallace, Chris Bosh. They gave it to the truth. They gave it to there's a few. I should have brought up the list. Bill Russell got his second induction as a coach, which I think is kind of bogus. They could have gave his first jacket a / something patch. You know, you have to give him a whole new one. Plus, it wasn't like. You know.
That's amazing. They gave Paul Pierce it, I mean, especially after that video with the strippers that got him fired off ESPN. I thought for sure that was going to be a black mark on your record.
You know what eased the blow though it was that evil white bitch Rachel Nichols. When she went down, everybody else who had issues at ESPN was like, "Oh, I'm off the hook." Yeah, at least I didn't say no. At least I didn't say no behind her back racist shit. If I didn't say that, I'm okay. So everybody, right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Except for Max.
Mm.
Yeah, Max left first take, huh?
No, he didn't leave. That's what we leave first take. Stephen A. Smith to get him out of here. I love him as a guy, but he's got to go. That don't make no sense. Oxymoron talking.
Yeah, don't hit me. I just talked about this last week. I said Stephen A's cool. I know he brings content, but like to the core of me, I get irritated by him because he is just so like. He's fucking toxic, bro. He's got an argument. He sets up his emotional ties to everyone, like to try to secure his, like, let me make sure I say all these nice things so I can say everything I want to say without too much backlash. And then finally 10 seconds of actual sports talk. Like, Jesus, bro, just get it over with. Now, my brother, before I start this, I must have to preface this with the idea that everybody knows me and him go way back. And then he's always got to go like that. And then he finally like, yeah, he's terrible, though. We got to get out of here. You know, it's like, bro.
I saw this video on TikTok where it said the real reason why he got rid of Max Kellerman was because that there was an episode where T.O. told him that like Max Kellerman was blacker than him.
I knew it. I joked about that. I joked about it, and if that's real, that's hilarious.
For real though.
And that's what we said. We said, let's keep it real. The black man outed the most cultured white guy on ESPN. The guy from like Brooklyn who grew up on boxing and basketball and used to be a rapper in the 90s. Oh, how black can you get?
like when I think about it, like Max Kellerman's like that dude off the barbershop. Isaac. He's like, tell me I'm blacker than you.
That was what's his name from NSYNC, right?
I can't remember. I have no idea. Is he's still on a different show though now, right?
Yeah, he got his own show. Well, he's not his own show. He jumped on a show with Keyshawn Johnson and Jay Will. I forget what his actual name is.
The other guy was Zubin, but he had some issues and he had to bounce. But even with the show with Stephen A, he already had his boxing show. You know, he's got his podcast. He's already got 3 or 4 other shows, but his main one was the one with Stephen A. So yeah, he's good already. And actually, I like the combination. I like his show with Keyshawn and them because honestly, somebody needed to be there to humble Keyshawn a little bit. I think he'd be walking over Jay Will and that Zubin dude a little too much. I think Max will kind of make him up his game a little bit.
Yeah, he was feeling a certain type of way today. I was watching him and he was just like, yeah, if you go back and watch my highlights, I was like, I became one of the league's best at toe dragging. And I was like, no, Max, get him.
Now with Chad Johnson out there.
Who would you guys say is your favorite sportscaster?
Like show or like broadcast, like live game broadcasting?
Either way, I guess, like just kind of like whoever, like just the announcers and like the guys who do like the after game or pregame shows and stuff. All right, for like the 5th time, we were having some technical difficulties, and I'm glad we're able to come back. If this actually fucking works, my God, I'm kind of over it at this point. We were talking about favorite broadcasters, I think. I don't know who is your favorite broadcasters.
Sports.
Talk about them still. Sports broadcasters,
yeah.
No, I was just saying there's not too many that, I mean, they're not all bad, but it's easier to point out the people that you don't like as opposed to the ones that you like really like, because you're gonna watch everybody, you know, regardless of what sport they're talking about. If you like that sport, you're gonna listen. So, but I said I appreciate Shaq on Open Court. And then I also like, I kind of like, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of like Shannon and Skip a little bit still. Skip. I kind of enjoy that a little bit. But the one I said I didn't like was Chris Collinsworth on TV. He's just too, I don't know, dude. I don't even want to badmouth him, but like, it's just not right for me. It's just not good for me.
I can feel that one.
For me, I kind of, when I'm watching something, like I can't stand Joe Buck, but he's like on every Fox football game. I can't stand that guy. But somebody I really like hearing like for football is I think his name is Marv Albert.
Marv Albert.
I think for ABC or something like that. But I like when he's like, and Aaron Rodgers, like the way he's like the way he stresses his voice when like the most basic stuff happens. It makes me feel like oh, 5-yard pass. Oh, that was legit. And then, but as far as like watching shows and all that, I still enjoy Stephen A. Smith just because, you know, I like when he yells. Yeah. It makes me laugh.
Yeah. I could say the same thing with Shannon Skip. Obviously, we talked about Shaq earlier. Just his personality, the way he vibes with Chuck is hilarious, and the way that they bring their own stuff up. For me personally, I actually like Rich Eisen, and I like Rich Eisen for a different reason other than the fact that everything else is that he's kind of like the ordinary guy. Like they always have like LT and Willie McGinnis and all these other like prior athletes, prior football players that are on there, and then they just have good old Rich Eisen there, the guy that doesn't even look like he belongs, but he provides his own sort of commentary. And then I don't really watch Golden State, but I like I think his name's Mike Breen, the guy that goes bang. He calls every 3-point shot that gets shot at in Golden State.
Oh yeah,
it's just
yeah.
You just got those certain broadcasters that have that one line or that signature thing that they say that just it gets you fired up. Like, I'm not a Golden State fan, but he's pretty hype.
Yeah, the Clippers had that dude Ralph Lawler, and when they would hit a three, bingo! It's like, okay, bro, calm down, calm down. Bro.
Hey, everyone's trying to hit, man. Everyone's trying to get their own signature style.
That's true. But see, I feel like they got that from baseball, and it makes me miss guys like Chris Berman. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like hearing him, like we have to wait for special things to happen for Chris Berman to come out of his shell, you know? But like back when he was every day on like MLB, going over like the home runs, back, and that one's gone,
Yeah.
or the show like Jacked Up and stuff like that. It makes me miss like real emotion behind the thing, not just goofy because you're trying to hype it in that moment. It was guys who
Yeah.
were actually like that all the time.
Yeah.
I heard one. I heard a funny one where a dude got fired though. I don't know if he did it on purpose, like he quit or whatever, but it was he was commentating on a basketball game and somebody went for a layup and he got blocked. He said, "Yeah, get that pussy shit out of here."
And you know what? It's making me feel like in the near future, especially with like the rise of things like YouTube, like, you know, streaming services, there's going to be off or online, you know, broadcasting of sports that are unfiltered. And I think that's where
Yeah.
we should be going. Like that's where people like us who just like to talk sports, you know, and we could just, oh, who's available today? Oh, let's watch this game. Are you like live arguments while we're watching and shit? And I think people would find that hilarious.
Makes sense.
I think that's where that's going though. We're probably 10 years away from that.
I guess I could definitely see Bill Burr commenting on a basketball game or something like that.
What the fuck are you doing? You're going the wrong way. Get the fuck back on defense. We pay you millions for what? Yeah, I can hear it. I definitely can hear it.
Him and Michael Rappaport going back and forth.
You're 7'2", dunk the fucking ball. Especially Rappaport, man. He already underneath the skin of a lot of players. Could you imagine him being the leading voice on like a 3-man broadcast on YouTube? Oh my god!
I could just hear him say his one line from Deep Blue Sea. You know, who are you gonna trust? And it just
But see, that's where old players can come back and be like, "Oh, you want to be part of the live broadcast? Oh hell yeah! I need KG. I need all the trash talkers. I need KG. You know, I need rest in peace. I would have liked Kobe because you know Kobe liked to be nice about it, but also throw shots and kind of smile. Like you know what I mean to say, but I'm not saying it. I like that.
Right. Nah, I like the Kobe to walk in here and like it's soft as baby shit in here.
Yeah, but yeah, that's about it. What else going on in sports though? I don't really know.
Football just started. We're starting about football and fantasy. You know, and
no update on baseball yet. They're still rounding up the end of the season to see. Whenever we have like a playoff picture, well, I guess we'll dive into it a little bit, but nothing new.
Trevor Bauer's season is pretty much over. He got
I saw that
like
too.
The 8th. He got his leave extended the 8th time. So they're pretty much, your season's over. You're not coming back. You guys are probably going to make the postseason, and it's going to be extended again.
I don't like to compare people's situations, especially when it comes to legal stuff. But the way that the MLB is handling the Trevor Bauer and the way that the NFL is handling the Watson stuff, is one worse than the other? Like, I mean, especially since Bauer got text of her agreeing to get her ass beat, like to a degree. Like,
what?
is there? I don't know. We're just two different commissioners. Next topic.
I think they're both so scared to cross the woman, you know, in this situation, to lose their women demographic and all that stuff, that they don't want to look a certain way. So they're both just saying, hey, just stay away until they either forget or we figure something else out, or you incriminate yourself on social media somewhere and we fight it.
I mean, to be honest, the NFL is kind of slick about not necessarily hiding that stuff, but trying to make you forget about it. Because remember, just 2-3 years ago, when all that stuff came out about the Washington Redskins organization, I'm gonna call them the Redskins because that's where they were at the time. All that stuff that came out about Snyder and all those guys in the office who are using cheerleaders like pretty much like hoochies, you know, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Pretty much having all these sex crime allegations and harassment suits. And what do they do? Oh, people have been trying to change your Redskins name for the last 15 seasons. But as soon as this stuff breaks out, yeah, maybe it's time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like the thing with the Deshaun Watson is like, it's not a team thing, it's a Deshaun Watson thing. And all they did was barely just yesterday or 2 days ago say, yeah, we're gonna rule him out for week 1. Like they're not even like cutting ties with him. They're not doing that because at the end of the day, he's too valuable of a talent. So they're still trying to get money out of him.
Right.
Like that. And that's crazy to think about. But baseball could care less. This guy won the Cy Young last year. Did he win it last year?
Trevor
He
Bauer,
won it last year. Did he
He
not?
won something. I don't know if he won.
I don't
I think he
remember.
won. I think Bauer won the Cy Young last year. I don't know. It was close. It was a short season, but anyway, he was a top 10 pitcher coming into the league, and they still were like, nah. How about you just post up? So
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any differences or any contrast to make between different leagues and how they handle stuff, but we never really hear about people that like soccer players and what shit they be going through, because I'm pretty sure they're not all great citizens.
I think it also has to do with like I'm not saying that soccer isn't like it's the international sport, like worldwide sort of coverage and all that stuff, but I think it's kind of in America per se. Football, a couple of years ago, football took over as what people would say was America's game, because people have watched football more. There's higher ratings for that sort of sport,
Right, the ratings, right.
It just brings all this money in that there's so much more. It's much bigger spectacle. Like not.
I got
The
a
NFL
question
draft
about
is
that though.
way bigger.
But do you think that it's like that because there's less games in a football season? So if you were to multiply those games by 4, would you still have the same amount of people watching one game if you played 64 games as opposed to 16?
I think
maybe
that
it's still
kind
even,
of that.
but
I think it's kind of that. I don't think it's just because of the scarcity of the amount of games, but I think it's more so
the
it's
game's easier
going
to
back
follow
the root.
too.
It is
you
easier
know?
to follow, but it's just it goes back to like, I'm not going to say our roots, but it goes back in the days where people used to watch gladiator sports, where they used to like gladiator people, big men beating up on each other. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, we don't really have rugby here like that. So football is the prime tough guy sport.
Real quick, breaking news: Vitor Belfort TKOs Evander Holyfield in round 1.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
Mike,
that's a live update?
I guess, yeah.
What was Evander doing?
Just happened.
It's Mike Tyson's fault, man. When you lose part of your ear, that's part of your equilibrium.
His balance.
Right
his balance. I knew he was going there.
That's hilarious.
Well, also Anderson Silva just knocked out Tito Ortiz in a boxing, and I don't know if it was an exhibition or what it was, but I just got that update from ESPN not that long ago. I don't know when that was, but Anderson Silva, the former UFC midweight lightweight champion, who was considered the best at the time, along with GSP, knocked out Tito Ortiz in a boxing match.
I hope he got paid. I hope all these people got paid. What are you doing 50-something years old getting knocked out in a boxing match for, bro? It's not the business. Okay, it's not the business.
But back to fantasy football though, guys. Let's talk about some fair trades.
some fair trades. So
not too much to talk about.
You can't have fantasy football without drama. I tell you that much right now.
Let's
look
start
at it now. Austin
Eckler.
Austin Eckler's questionable for week 1, by the way.
See, we can't go into our experiences because we're supposed to talk about stuff that other people can relate to, and
now they gonna relate to this drama
inside.
anyway. So Gilbert was bitching right about the league.
Come on.
No, but to make a long story short, a good friend of the show, Gilbert. If you're listening out there, fuck you, Gilbert. He was complaining about the league setup, which most of us at some point or another had voiced our opinions about it or our thoughts about it, right? He kind of went on a tangent about it, and there was this back and forth, and to where Gilbert got kicked out of the league, and phone calls were made, talks were had, and eventually a couple of days passed, and he was given his spot back into the league, and it kind of just subsided. I don't know if you guys noticed though, but every time he gets a chance, he kind of tries to throw a little jab out there, especially because the waiver wire is so like is fucked
barren.
but yeah. So essentially, one of the next things that happened, of course, and this is before the first game of the season even happened. There were some trades that got put through. Daniel was trying to trade for Austin Eckler. I don't remember who he was trying to give up. DJ was trying to trade for Austin Eckler. You want to take it from there, DJ?
I mean, there's not really a lot of drama when it came to that first trade. The first trade was Austin Eckler and Tyson Williamson from Daniel, and I gave him Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. It was pretty even trade, pretty 1-for-1 swap. Before this is before all hell broke loose for Baltimore, and they signed their fourth running back in a matter of a week. So,
Man,
but
it was just
that
it's just regular fantasy football is hard to grade, man, because as soon as you make a decision, somebody could get hurt the next day, and boom, that's just how it rolls. But in regards to getting mad about like the settings and stuff, the reason why I wasn't tripping is because for most people who play fantasy football or fantasy sports in general, unless you're kind of weird or it's your first time, you never really just have one league. So for somebody like Gilbert, who I know has like 5 fantasy football teams, it's okay to have one where the settings are a little different. Big fucking whoop. Get over it. That's how I feel. And just like, even though I said something, it's okay to have one that's a little different. So what? You have other leagues to play the straight up same settings that is every year in and year out. That's just how I feel about that. So even if it is a money league, it's only what, $20-$25. We're not breaking the bank over here.
Right.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that was my vision going into it. To make it something different. To make it be that one league that's competitive for all the right reasons. Just because all the different ways you can manipulate certain things in other leagues you can't necessarily do here. Like people that waiver wire sharks, they can't do that here. So now they have to actually get their trades off if they're fair, DJ, or they have to. Or they have to know their drafts, and have their bench set perfectly. And that's a whole other level of competition you don't normally get because people can just drop off the waiver wire. And I think it's really funny that he was saying all that about the waiver wire because he's made the most ads and drops off that waiver wire besides me ever since he said that.
Well, I mean, clearly he knows that's his angle. That was his angle. So
I don't think it had to do with
mobility.
I don't think it had to do with more with that. Obviously, I know that was a huge thing about the being able to pick things up off the waiver wire. I know I was in his $100 money league last year, and him and I were the waiver wire sharks, the guys that dove into the waiver wire and basically made our championship off of that. But I think it was just because, like, I'm pretty sure, other than us 4 in this chat, I'm pretty sure no one read the rules. Like, no one read the settings. No one read the rules. They just came into it and like, oh, it's just a regular draft and like a regular PPR draft. And unfortunately, I think that half the league, which this is a 12-man league, mind you, so I'm assuming 8 people didn't know that it was these specific rules, and it kind of caught people off guard. Like even when you guys vetoed the trade, one of the members was like, "Oh, what? So we all voted and it didn't matter?" But like, I just don't think that people were paying attention.
Yeah, they definitely weren't because, like, especially when Gilbert was just like, we had already drafted and everything, and then he was like, "We have 4 wide receivers," and I'm like, "You drafted? You didn't realize you had 4 wide receivers?" and then during one of those phone calls, he's like, "Yeah, I didn't go in there and check any of the settings or anything like that before we started drafting or anything like that." And I was just like, "Well, it's up there. Like, it's been up there. I haven't changed anything since everybody got into the league. Like, it's right there for anybody to go check the settings. It's like it's not that can't be held against me because y'all didn't go read the settings." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but at the same time, I think it's like what he said. He's like, I just think that he wanted someone to say something about it.
For sure, especially if we're going to be announcing the trades, that should have been a courtesy too. But fuck all that. I want to let a secret be known right now. I tried to get DJ. I ain't gonna hold you. I tried to get him.
Why?
I tried to. I was the last person. I was the last person to veto that Austin Eckler trade.
Wow.
Right when you message whoever vetoed, your mom's a hoe.
Exactly. That's hilarious, bro. It's funny.
That shit was funny.
He did say whoever vetoed that shit, your mom's a hoe. That was kind of funny knowing that Brandon vetoed that shit. That's your boy. That's your boy.
I just thought it
Man,
was
that's funny. Good up. But honestly, like fantasy football is just a great way to get you and your homies to just stay busy in a fun way and also a competitive way, you know. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
well-
Glad that's back.
We're always competitive, so just another thing to add on to it.
Yep.
Yeah, then we had that one guy when we were watching the Bucks and the Cowboys. That one guy was like, "Wait, we lose points for incompletion." I was just like, "Oh, that's another one." Didn't read this.
I told you, man. I'm telling you, half of the people didn't know that we got a point per completion and a point per incompletion.
Ultimately, it don't matter because it's the same for everybody. So wherever you rate somebody, like you're not thinking, oh, let me get the quarterback with the most yard who throws the most yards, but his completion percentage is a little like what it's give and take everywhere.
But-
like it's still the
Unless you have a Lamar Jackson.
yeah, but he gets rushing points too.
The one thing that sucks though too is like that even counts for freaking for like the end of the game. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let me just fucking spike the ball real quick to run out the time, and it's like, damn, that counts as an incompletion. But it's like you can't like, there's no way to change that. You know what I mean?
Part of
Like,
the
you
game,
can't say-
baby.
Yeah,
Part of the
it's
game.
wild. I would.
Yeah,
I'd
I remember.
I'd be
I remember
heated.
last year. I remember me and Josh were in a heated battle one time, right? And we're sitting there. It was before he moved. We were sitting there playing each other,
The victory
And-
formation.
and he was it was the victory formation. He was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna lose," and he spiked it, and he lost the point.
Well, I have a question. If a quarterback, okay, if you're in victory formation and the quarterback takes a knee and downs it, is that not considered a carry for a loss of yard?
Yes,
It is a carry for a loss of yard.
So
Yes, it
if
is.
let's say if your quarterback, let's say your quarterback ran for 49 yards, you're not going to reach 50, but if he downs 3 times, he's not going to go back down under 40. So you're still going to have the 4 points or whatever points you have, but you just gained 3 points because of carries. Because it's
No,
people,
you don't
like,
get. We don't have points for our specific league isn't a point per carry league.
point per
No.
carry.
That'd be AIDS.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that is
definitely.
I'm just-
that is
That
definitely
is a thing though. That's okay. So that's a funny situation, but
That happened to Mario back in the day, not Killer Mario, but Panda Mario. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about or not, but
When I said Panda Mario, what the fuck does that mean? What is Panda supposed to
he's
be?
literally the size of a panda. That's what that
Oh.
means. Like
Oh,
he's
wow.
I
literally
got
the
bras
size
in
of-
Atlanta.
That's what.
Let's
That's
move
where my
on,
head
man.
went. That's where my head.
We're not
went.
gonna get out of this sports stuff, and we just
All right,
keep
all
letting us
right.
go into it.
Steve from Blue's Clues uploads a video saying he remembers us and is proud
What
of
a
us.
punk ass bitch.
Oh
He
wow!
ain't come back to say, "Oh, I missed you." Why do you even
He
come
loves us.
back? Let's not
He
act like
loves us.
mofos didn't desert us before. Keep it pushing.
First of all, he's proud of me, man. And
Then
I
he lied to
appreciate
us.
his
Oh, I
sentiment.
went
He
off to
said-
college. Okay, yeah, whatever. You got a DUI.
He
You
said
got
we look
fired.
good.
We know what happened.
Well, no, he actually
said we
my
look good.
balls.
We look good. Yeah.
he went to college over there with little Romeo at ICUC college. And he was,
ICDC.
he saw
Yeah.
that college. He saw that commercial and that one black guy every time. Hey, why don't you go to college, man? Why don't you get up off your couch? And then he kept
I
saying,
want to
those
know if
same
that
two
guy
commercials.
graduated from college.
I don't know if he's doing that as a job. I don't know.
How much you
You
think he
said
got
that
paid?
college.
How much you think he got paid to upload that little video because he was in a tough spot?
I don't know. Probably a couple thousand, maybe, or a couple hundred.
Well, it was I wouldn't say even a tough spot. It was like the 45th anniversary, right, or some shit like that
Yeah.
of Blue's
There's
Clues.
like an Indian guy that's doing it right
Oh
now.
yeah, that's pretty
Blue's
big.
Clues.
Yeah. Okay. Did he add it? Because remember they had salt and pepper and paprika, so you know he's adding a few spices. This is your cousin Curry.
Oh my god.
Oh wow, we're getting canceled.
Chimichurri.
Speaking of anniversaries, it is the 20-year anniversary of 9/11, and we are not in Afghanistan, and Taliban is in control again. So it looks like history does repeat itself.
It is also the 20-year anniversary of Jay-Z's The Blueprint.
Yes, which means that it's an anniversary for one of Fabulous's albums too. I can't remember which one it's called, but
That album
he
made more
also
impact in my life than 9/11 did,
he
and
also
that's
had
sad, but that's real.
he also had an album released that day. Um. Okay, let's just get to the meat and potatoes of it. Donda versus Certified Lover Boy. That's what we're here for. That's what we wanted to talk about, right?
Is it really a
Let's,
versus though? We
is-
knew we. Can I just preface this real quick?
Go ahead.
The albums came out relatively the
A
same
week
week,
apart. Yeah, a week apart. Yeah.
and because they had been taking what seemed to be a few shots at each other, or mainly Kanye taking shots at Drake, if I may be very clear about him posting his home address and shit like that. And let's be honest,
And
that's
group
not
chat too.
that's not a game. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's gonna be people who they know where you live, but you just openly putting somebody's ad, that's not a game. We've seen people in the last 3-4 years get killed because their location was uploaded.
Somebody from Toronto and like that knows them, I guess, or whatever, talked about that. It was just kind of funny because it was more so dumb than like scary or anything like that, because he has like a big estate, and I guess a lot of people have to drive by there all the time. So
All the time.
a lot of people out there
already
exactly
know
where Drake lives. Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, even apart from the fact, just not having the respect as a grown up to not do it regardless, considering that people like what's his name, the Pop Smoke dude, or the other people's locations were uploaded and immediately died. Don't play with that shit. That's just not grown. Very disappointing moment for Kanye right there. But moving on to the music though, so the albums weren't necessarily meant to be.
I want so say what you're going to say right now, but I want you to be the last one to speak though.
That's
as far
fine.
as like giving our opinion.
That's
fine. I feel like you have the most energy for this subject. I
had the most energy. I've settled it down, but
go ahead.
What I will say is we went into this, or into last week, not thinking that these albums were in competition. It's not like when Kanye and 50 Cent back in 2007 or whatever it was. Remember? You guys remember that when they both dropped on the same day, and 50 was like, if you get more plays than me, I'm gonna retire. Like, it wasn't like that. And we know that Drake and Kanye don't really make the same music, especially in the last 4 projects.
Oh yeah,
Kanye is very known for experimentative sounds, a lot more auto-tune, a lot more this, and Drake is more about listen to what the fuck I'm saying. You're gonna feel me. We're gonna have a few bangers, and we're gonna try to find a wave that people are fucking with and get your head and booty shaking a little bit. So that's kind of what we expected. Kanye gave us an entire month of hype with all of these tours, listening parties where, this listening party was different from this one's different from that one. So it built up anticipation. And for people who have been listening to the pod and people who have spoken to me in the last year, we've been saying that a lot of times now, your hype and the anticipation of the album is what builds the numbers, not necessarily the talent that is broadcasted on it. It boosts it when it's great, but now it's just about how many guaranteed listens can we get before it even drops. So obviously Kanye did everything he had to do. And let's be honest, when it came down to marketing, Drake won because Kanye put millions into it. Drake didn't have to do shit and still outsold him in the first week. I'm just prefacing real quick, and it had nothing to do with the music yet. But I'm just saying the effort that went into this and that. Yeah, Kanye's trying to be an innovator with music. Oh, let me do listening parties. Let me sell out stadiums. That's fine. Light yourself on fire. Lift yourself in the air with a high wire. Do what you got to do to make you feel great, bro. Congratulations. Congratulations. We're happy for you. I'm glad this is your going out party in a sense with your grieving about your mom. I don't know if Daniel saw it, but I hid it from him because I didn't need no ammo being shot back at me. This one guy posted that the last 7 albums of Kanye represent the 7 stages of grief. So when his mother died, the albums in order go from, the stages. And apparently Donda is the release or healing one. But now that I hear it, that's bullshit. Okay, I'm sorry. There is no healing in this. There is no healing. It's totally experimental. I'll dig deep when it's my turn to really speak. But I just want to let people know that when we're saying Donda versus CLB, I guess we're talking about in terms of the success, because when you're grading the albums together, and if you listen to them, they're both under the genre hip hop / R&B. And one of these albums you get hip hop / R&B. The other you get some hip hop, some rap, not R&B, excuse me, some hip hop, some rap. And the rest of it is sampled gospel music.
Yeah.
All right.
So
here's how I want to do this.
you guys go ahead and
I want DJ to go first because I think he was the last one to listen to all of them. Then I'll go. Then I want Daniel to go, and then Joey's gonna go last. So you start this off, DJ.
All right. So I'd like to say that like being
It
the
just
casual. No, it didn't.
Jesus Christ.
being the casual listener to hip hop and rap and R&B out of the group of 4 people that we got, I didn't really care much for either album. As in, I wasn't looking forward to. I wasn't like hyped about them. Whenever it came out. I was gonna give it a listen, whatever. I preface this by saying that what Joey said in the beginning about it being experimental, and I'm talking about the Kanye album, Donda. When I heard that album, I don't know if it's just because I'm old, but I was like, I heard his last album, I heard the last gospel album, and I don't know why I thought that I was gonna get the old Kanye, but I was sad that I didn't, and I'm not gonna say it was a bad album. His new gospel album, it's a good vibe. It's something chill. It's something mellow. I didn't like the first couple of tracks that kind of tried to hype up the album itself, like the Donda chant and all that. But it was all right. I mean, that's all I can say about it. It was all right. I hope Lawrence isn't listening to this because he'll probably be mad at me. But
no, I need him. We need him to listen to.
I think that when it comes down to it, from a listener standpoint, I prefer Drake's album, and it's just because it was something that it wasn't like it was super safe album. It's something that I expected. It's something that like I know what I'm getting when I'm listening to Drake. And unfortunately, as lame and as bland as that might sound, I knew what I was getting when I listened to it. I liked the Drake album. It was fine. It kept me entertained. When I was listening to the Donda album, it kind of felt like, holy crap, this is a 2-hour album and this is taking forever. And it kind of dragged on for me. I'm not saying the Donda album was bad at all, but for me personally, I preferred the Drake album. That was just me personally. I think I'll kind of leave it at that. I don't have anything better to say about either of the albums. I think they were good albums, and they're just albums to me. I think Jose by J Balvin is what hit my market, and that came out yesterday. So that's where I'm going to leave it.
All right. Okay, so Donda and Certified Lover Boy. Donda coming out, I believe, on a Sunday. There was rumors for weeks it was going to get released. Kind of like you said, Joey. There's a bunch of hype for the marketing around the album. Kanye's a big artist, and I don't think he's ever really done a surprise release. If I remember correctly, there's usually some kind of announcement or campaign or whatever around his albums for the most part, right? Not to say that I don't think he couldn't be successful if he did a surprise album, but I mean that just happened to be the case. It was a big, a really big and boisterous like kind of campaign that he had for the release of Donda. He had the stadiums, like you said, he was on fire. He lifted himself up. It was kind of like a visual showcase, some songs maybe being a little bit slower, so you're kind of focusing more on what he's doing and stuff. I know one of the stadiums, he stayed there for a couple days and had like a stream going in other countries. He was working out, hanging out with other artists and his friends or whatever. Had this little room. Another stadium, he made a replica of the house he grew up in and whatnot. So he was doing a lot. And then of course there was kind of like the beef was going with Drake or whatever. I don't know if it's beef really, but whatever you want to call it. They were kind of going back and forth a little. Well, not back and forth, more so Kanye. Drake kind of responded a little bit and was laughing or whatever. But that kind of just adds to the hypeness of everything. It doesn't really do anything as far as God, that's so distracting. Jesus.
Is he playing violins? Is this a eulogy for Donda? Are we? Dude, what's going on?
Jesus. God damn, I have to edit all that shit out now. Fuck.
Continue.
Anyway. So then Donda finally dropped. People listened to it. I was in no rush to listen to it personally. I wasn't caught up in all the hype. I tried to give it a listen. The first time I listened to like the first 3 or 4 songs when I finally did listen to it. I think I'm gonna listen to it like the next day or like a couple days later when it first came out. Wasn't really my cup of tea, but I was looking forward to Drake when it was announced that he was going to drop Certified Lover Boy on the 3rd, which I guess he supposedly hacked ESPN or whatever, and they said Certified Lover Boy was coming out on the 3rd, so that was pretty exciting. I was on my way home at night, and Certified Lover Boy kept me awake, which was great. I was able to drive back home, listen to the whole album, the whole project. Me and Joy were literally going back and forth about like the lyrics and like the songs and everything, like literally at the same time. Like, oh, I'm on track 3, I'm on track 3 too. Damn, this bar was fire. This bar was fire. You know, like going back and forth. So I was hype. I mean, I like Drake a lot. I'm a huge Drake fan. So I can also see some of the bias I may have had towards this album. But overall, it kind of kept me more entertained right off the jump than Donda did or whatever. Went back eventually to listen to. Well, first and foremost, I actually spoke to my brother a little bit. You know, he put some posts saying "Certified Lover Boy" is trash, and I know I responded, Joey responded. You know, I've always said that I don't think my brother has the best music taste. His shit is kind of out there. It is what it is. But uh, you know, I caught my brother listening to it eventually, and I posted like, "Hey, my brother's listening to Certified Lover Boy," and I had to listen to. I tried to my best to listen to the full album of Donda just because I felt like I needed to for the podcast. I didn't want to come in here half cocked or like having only heard a handful of songs. So I listened to it, and my brother posted that I was listening to it. But the difference being though that when I listened to Donda, it was used as house cleaning music, kind of like when your mom would put on some kind of R&B or gospel music to clean the house for the day, you know. But I did listen to the whole thing though, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool. This is good. You know, it's not bad. It doesn't displease my ears whatsoever. It's just not a memorable. There's no memorable songs or songs that I really want to go back and listen to besides maybe Jail. That one's like the my favorite song part of the album. And then other than actual Kanye himself, like I'm not really a fan of like his bars on the album. I really appreciate his features much more than I appreciate him on this album, which to me is a bad thing. You know, it's your album. I want to hear you. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to experience you as an artist. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to vibe more towards Jadakiss and the Locks or the Baby or Jay-Z or whoever, you know, like I want to hear Kanye. I want to experience you. Keep in mind, I'm assuming on the production, he had the majority of, you know, his hand in it, you know, and he got to pick and choose who he wanted to be on the album and where they're going to be placed and whatnot. But overall, like I know I've heard Kanye spit some good bars. I've heard him, you know, flow really greatly. I've heard him make plenty of great songs, great music. I just don't think that this was the album where he showcased that. And Certified Lover Boy, kind of like DJ said, it was safe, yes, but it's like it's not bad compared to what we've heard. You know what I mean? It's not.
It was.
It's not horrible. It's
Oh,
basic.
wait, yeah.
It's basic Drake. It's basic Drake. So for me, Drake's album personally won me over more than Donda did, and that's pretty much that. Daniel,
Haters, the lot of you.
God damn it! God damn it! You may proceed.
No, I'm just kidding. But I really. So when Donda first came out, you know, I listened to it the very first time. I was like, this probably sounds better live. Like I can imagine we saw like the same way we saw him with Kids See Ghosts at Flognaw, like seeing Donda
Absolutely.
It's somewhere like that. The first rip of me hearing it, I was like, this is the perfect setting for it. Like I remember telling somebody from the church, because you know I'm like the resident, you know, hip hop black guy, I guess. So they were like, "Oh yeah, Donda come out. How'd you feel about it?" And then I was just like, I was telling them, you know, it's like I feel like it's better as a concert, but that was off the first listen. So now I continue to listen to it, you know, for that week it was out, and the more I listened to it, the more I really liked it. The more I started vibing to it and dancing to it. Like I cleaned up my apartment to it and stuff like that, driving around work and all that, playing it. Like I really enjoyed this album. And the part about it, people not experiencing Kanye, like a lot of people forget that Kanye was a producer first before he started rapping. So so when people say, "Oh, I haven't, you know, experienced Kanye enough," it's like the entire production is Kanye. The rapping was just the side piece to Kanye. He was when he back before he found God, he was rapping. Like that's no joke. He was definitely doing that. But so once he met God and all that, and he transitioned in his life, his style also transitioned. And a lot of people want to keep putting Kanye in this box because they want to expect Kanye to be like how it used to be, like how DJ said, "Oh, I wanted old Kanye," and I was disappointed that I didn't get old Kanye. Kanye is no longer old Kanye. He don't even call himself Kanye no more.
Just his crazy actions are still Kanye, though, right?
He don't even call himself Kanye no more. He just calls himself Ye and stuff like that. So he's
much closer to God, right?
He's in the midst of his transitions and all that of becoming, who he wants to envision himself in going on in the future and all that. And so I actually enjoyed, hearing his production on this stuff. I enjoyed actually some of the bars he was trying to do, like you could tell he was like rushing through because some of his bars weren't lining up where they were supposed to line up. And like, as somebody who listens to so much rap, you're like, okay, you missed on that song. You missed on that song. A couple of the features, I was like, oh, I'm not really feeling these features. Like having Playboy Cardi on here twice did not.
Yeah, talk about it. Jeez, come on, you are Kanye, bro. Like you had Jigga on there once,
But but on that point too, like I never thought I'd ever say the baby had a better verse than Jay-Z.
Thank you.
the baby went straight off on Jail 2. When
I got a question though.
Okay.
I got a question on that, just specific before I lose my thought on that one. I felt the same way because to me it was a change of pace from the rest of the album because the album was very slow. So when the baby came doing his flow, even though it's a flow that we hear often from the baby, it was refreshing as fuck. Is that how that hit you?
No, it didn't hit me in that perspective because I felt like there were other songs where there was more speed to them. If you listen to Believe What I Say and stuff, and there's another one with Roddy Ricch in it. I forgot what the name of it.
Oh yeah, that one was good.
There's other hype songs in there. There's other faster songs in there. But what got me is just the pure emotion behind it. Finally hearing him say some of the stuff we've been talking about with him getting kicked off of certain platforms and losing
some shit to get off your chest.
Yeah, I really felt that from him, and that's what really gravitated me towards
Big facts.
Because Jay-Z was just kind of just like, yeah, I'm Jay-Z, like that's the style I got from him. That's the vibe I got from him. He's like, yeah, I'm Jay-Z. I'm just doing this because this is my homie. I'm the best. Here's my verse type of thing.
I did mention that in the group chat. I did say that the track that Jay-Z was on, even though he's a great rapper, some people can't just spit on everything. It wasn't Jay-Z's vibe to where he can go off. And even then, the only bar I remembered was Hove and Yeezus, like Moses and Jesus. so that was the only thing that got me, and I'm disappointed because normally I remember 2, 3, 4, 5 bars from Jigga, and that's the only one that I could like remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can definitely understand that, but it's the DJ's part. Like the beginning, it's not for everybody. Them first 3, 4 tracks is not for everybody. Like, that's not for everybody. Having Hurricane's probably the very first song where you're like, okay, well, we're getting somewhere now, and all that. But even that was a little bit of a stretch for me. But the real kicker off to Donda for me is right when you get to believe what I say.
Believe what I say. Yep.
From then on, for the rest of that album, it's absolute fire for me.
I actually have Believe What I Say, the highest rated song on that album, and I went through hell trying to grade this album on the same basis as I did CLB. Even though I didn't want to do that, I have that as the song that made me raise my eyebrow. Like, okay, I'm working with it.
Right. Yeah. So I threw one, and then I heard you guys were all in the chat. I was at the movies, and my phone was going off, and you guys were going on talking about Certified Lover Boy, and I was like, okay, well, on the drive home, I'm going to listen to this. And then I'm going to sit with this for the next week or so, too. And I kept finding myself going back to Donda, like a lot. And I felt like that's an indictment on Drake because I felt like I was getting the same Drake that I get on any album. I was getting the same type of production that I would get on any Drake album.
And that's what happens when, see, what I did was you can't listen to both of these albums back to back multiple times, because then your listening ear and your mind start to compare them in ways that's not fair to you as a listener. And that's why I wanted to stay away from it, because if I had listened to Donda and that's fresh on my mind, and then I went and listened to Certified Lover Boy, because there's more of a consistent mid-level like tone to CLB, which can be taken as boring. And then you go back to Donda where it gives you more of a low high kind of like orchestra music. I totally understand what you mean. You know what I'm saying? But that's where things like lyrics come into play. And that's where I think Donda suffered. But
Well, to a certain degree, yeah, it did, because, like I said earlier, like Kanye's definitely not rapping the way he used to rap. I can definitely admit to that. To where, like, if you were gonna compare graduation bars to this, there's no comparison to it. But at the same time, I'll tell you that I got a hot take for you right now. That Jay Electronica verse is better than anything I heard on Certified Lover Boy.
Jay went in. But at the same time, it's not his album. And
Right.
and
Yeah.
Drake
I was
going
gonna
harder
follow
than
up
his
with
own
that.
album.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too, but at the same point, I can understand why people don't like the fact that the hardest verses that they're hearing are actually from Kanye.
I that's where I can't agree with you. I don't know. Is it? You have any last comments in regards to both of these grade wise? You're giving the slight edge to Kanye?
Yeah, I'm giving the edge to Kanye because it had so much replay value for me.
Okay. Any last comments on CLB? Just the run of the mill Drake you was expecting, low key.
Yeah, that's the Drake I was expecting. Like the Drake I'll get super hyped for is, like I told you guys, like as long as he raps, I'll like the Drake album.
You know what's crazy?
But if he ever gets another Ninth Wonder beat, like if him and Ninth Wonder ever hook up again, that's probably gonna be the greatest Drake album.
You know what's crazy is they probably could have used each other on each other's albums. That's really how I feel about it.
Oh yeah. I noticed a lot of sneak dissing on Drake from Kanye.
But
in his
but
verses.
you have to be real about it though. If there was a lot of sneak dissing, don't you think that was added after the last 3 weeks of pestering that Kanye was doing? Like, don't you think that was warranted? Like,
no,
wait.
Like, no, hold on. I'm saying Donda had a lot of sneak disses towards Drake.
Oh, absolutely. And now it makes me wonder: did Drake really smash Kim? But we'll talk about that later.
I bet he did.
Let's go. let me round this up real quick. Based off of everything, how I opened this out and given kind of like the preface of listening to the albums, now you guys gave your inputs. I don't want to say I was right about how you guys felt about it, but I was kind of leaning in those directions that you guys were all feel like, just knowing you guys personally. I knew that Daniel was leaning toward Donda for his reasons. I'm not going to disagree with him. I agree with his reasons. I just want to tell you guys how I went about it. I listened to both albums 5 times. I never listened to them. Well, there was one time where I listened to that same album back to back. So I listened to Donda first. I listened to a few some different music. I listened to Donda again, and then Donda again. Then Drake came out. I listened to Drake back to back. Boom, boom. Listened to another album. Then I listened to Drake again. Now I'm at 3 times each. And after the first round, the first 3 listens, which I'll consider the first listen, after the first round, I've realized that Donda wasn't as bad as I initially felt the first listen, and Certified Lover Boy wasn't as good as I initially felt the first listen. And that's strictly because I had this comparison shit in my mind that I normally don't do, and I hate doing it because of this. And I feel like because there was so much anticipation behind the Kanye stuff, and before the album came out, I was the one complaining about, why is he still doing this? Why are you making so many edits? And I said, from a creative standpoint, even though I don't have no production albums out or blah, blah, I know a lot of creatives. I know what it's like making content. I know what it's like doing that stuff. When you overthink your stuff, your quality goes down. In music, people think the more I add, oh, my features. No. The quality goes down because you start second guessing stuff. You start changing stuff. You start doing this. I knew Kanye was going to overdo it. And a few weeks ago, off of Daniel's point, a few weeks ago when I said, I'm pretty sure, or actually after the first listen, I said, I'm pretty sure this album would have been much better with a show going on, because how I said all the highs and all the lows, that's orchestra music, which comes in what? Movies. He gave us a soundtrack, except sometimes when we say, oh, this album was so good, it's such a soundtrack, because when you listen to it from top to bottom, it gives you a vibe. Daniel loves that shit. Daniel loves the story where, or this leads into that, this leads into that, this leads into that. Donda didn't have none of that. So I know that didn't even pop that side of Daniel's cherry. So I know it wasn't that. So all I had to hold on to was, are the features carrying Kanye? Well, one thing I will say is I'm disappointed in, it's Kanye's album. I don't even think you had more verses or 50% of the verses on your album. I don't like that. And I know that he's a producer. I've praised him as a producer. But at the same time, I can criticize you as a producer. I can say that you made the genre of this album hip hop rap, and you did not provide that enough to call it hip hop rap. So that was a -1 point for me. On Drake, Certified Lover Boy, he came out spitting bars. I got the hip hop rap. Second track, he came out spitting bars. I got the hip hop rap. And I was already like, do I feel this way because Donda came out first and I listened to that first? Obviously, if I go from a little bit slower album, now I'm not saying slower because all the tracks are slow. I'm talking about in regards to the whole album. It's an hour and 50 minutes, Donda is, and 52 minutes of that is actually tempoed music. I statistically found it. I had to do it myself, the fourth listen, before I got to the fifth listen when I wasn't taking notes. And I want to make sure that I felt everything that I felt. Less than half of that album had listenable music to it. I don't care about the violins going for 67 seconds. You know, like I get it, but that's not music. Let that shit go. You could have cut this out. If Kanye would have cut this album to an hour and 10 minutes, he just might have had my vote, because there was a lot of shit in there that I didn't need. And honestly, me, and people don't know me as well as you guys do, but I listen to a lot of gospel music. I was raised in the church. I know I don't talk like it. Shit happens. But I know gospel. I know gospel music better than everybody. I don't want to speak for Daniel. I know gospel music better than most people I know. Even my parents who showed me gospel music. And I don't feel it. There's nothing godly about these albums. So I don't know. I mean, there's the words you say, great, but who are they coming from? You know what I'm saying? I don't believe a God factor inside of him doing that. And the fact that you named it after your mom, Donda, and this was supposed to be your biggest album. Now, is it listen wise? Maybe, but that's what the anticipation comes in for. You sold it before we got it. Good for you. Happy for the success. But I'm still going to grade this album from a music standpoint. And I'm very disappointed. This is not even near Kanye's top 5. Not even close to it. So if anybody can even say that it's in his top 5, suck it. Okay? Like it's not. It's not even close. Is Drake's in his top 5?
Folks, Joey said suck it, Lawrence.
Is Drake's album is Certified Lover Boy in Drake's top 5 albums?
Hell no.
Hell no. So I'm not saying anything bad about Donda in regards to Kanye, because I'm saying the same shit for Drake. They both took a fat step back, but in regards to hip hop and rap, Drake outspit Kanye. He had more content, and I'm going to say he had more content. I listened and watched every fucking word. Drake went in. And when people say, oh, Drake don't even write this, Drake don't even, find me how many writers came on Donda. Please go find it. There's thousands, okay? So don't come after Drake for having writers at some point, this and that, because Drake fucking went in. He addressed all type of shit. And the titles of his song matched what the fuck he was talking about. I have 27 songs from Donda, but really I chalked it up to 22 because there's part 2s that I just chose the better of them, and I said let's take these out. So I graded them out of 20 each. I got an average score of 2 out of 5, out of a score out of 5. I got an average for Donda of 2.82 out of 5, and for Certified Lover Boy I got 2.91. And that's a lot closer than I would have thought after I went through Certified Lover Boy and realized this is slower than I thought. This is slower than I thought. This this feature wasn't as good as I thought. But guess what? Most of every song on Certified Lover Boy, Drake had 2 verses on, more than his features. He also had much more hooks that get stuck in your head. The catchiness, the boom pap, the part of music that makes you want to dance a little bit. He had a little bit more of that throughout the album. I won't just say one song here and there. There wasn't many words that I took from Donda that I'm still saying in my mind over and over. And I can't stop myself from saying daddy's home. So I don't know where that comes in, but I just feel like even though we did expect something from Drake, at least expecting something and getting it and having it be boring to me was still better than an experimentation that kind of flopped in a sense of music making. And I hate to say that because I'm not a hater. I've backed Kanye many times, and I still look forward to his other albums. But this to me just wasn't a comparison. They weren't the same. Donda is not hip hop and rap. Yeah, some people rap on it. Some people rap on country music too. That doesn't make it hip hop. And it just blows my mind that the songs that are getting popular were the ones with the least value. Way Too Sexy, because it's got Future. That is a horrible song. That let me actually go to my grade. Let me show you what I've got on here. And mind you, I stopped at 14 on CLB because that's all I needed to grade out of 20 when I stopped taking actual notes. Champagne Poetry, the sample of Masego to me was already better than any sample on Donda because it wasn't boring, that you didn't have to chop up and do much. That was a great sample. He spit 1, 2, and 3 verses very well. Poppy's Home got a 4.5 out of 5 in track 2, which I got a few on Kanye's. I think on CLB I got 4 songs considering everything with a grade over 4 out of 5, and I think on Donda I got 3. So I'm not saying that's a dub or anything, but I took my time grading these, and I didn't bullshit it. I got much lower scores than I thought I would have on Drake's. But honestly, if you think that Donda has more replay value than CLB, I think it's because you just want to feel the vibe as opposed to listen to the music just straight up. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that totally. But ain't no song on Donda better than Pipe Down. Ain't no song on Donda better than, like there's just, I don't know. I just don't know. But all I know is I'm not arguing with anybody in regards to which one's better anymore. They're totally different. People definitely don't want to give Drake the benefit of the doubt when he does sing something great because they're so used to, oh, he's soft, or oh, he don't write this, or oh, he don't do that. Bitch, please. Can we just start grading people the same way we do everybody? Like just forget it. Just forget how you used to feel about stuff and take something for what it is. The fact that Lawrence called this a snooze fest after listening to Donda? Are you fucking kidding me? He said that the best, excuse me, I'm gonna fucking dime him out. He said that the best verse on CLB was the one with fucking Young Thug. What song is that?
Whoa, hold on. Let me find.
Let me show you my grade for Way Too Sexy. Let me show you my grade for Way Too Sexy. It got a 1.5 out of 5. Instrumental, kinda hard but basic. Chorus, super repetitive. Verse, okay, and that's in regards to Drake. Verse, okay. Feature 1, mid. Feature 2, trash. That got a 1.5 out of 5, and it could have been a 1. You know what song got better grade? The next song, TSU. Instrumental, mellow slap, switch to slower, long intro, verse okay, verse 2 okay, verse 3 singing but solid. That got you a half score out of 5. Way Too Sexy didn't even top that, and it's probably going to be the most popular video off this album. And that just tells me everything I need to know about society and what we're going to make popular moving forward. So with that being said, I stopped taking these grading things to heart because I know that my ears and my mind, the way it accepts things and the way it wants to be proud of people's talents. That's why I brought that topic up, and I actually put it on my Instagram and Facebook as a poll, and it said, do you guys think that hip hop and rap has the lowest expectations for talent when it comes to success? And greatly outweighing no, people said yes. It was way over 90%. 95% plus of people said yes, hip hop and rap can be totally trash and they can be really successful. And to me, that's what made me stop disliking anything I disliked about both of these albums and just took it for what they were. And if I had to choose one that had more replay value and one that stuck in my mind, I'm going to go with Drake, because at least when he was rapping, there was stuff that made me want to repeat it. And that's where I sit. But as for the grading, 2.82 out of 5 to 2.91, and even Peppa Pig rated higher than Donda. No shade, but that's where I'm
Eddie.
No shade, but that's where the fuck I sit on that. And I don't want to talk about these albums ever again. And I'm never grading these albums in this depth like this ever again, because Melodic Blue was better. Jose was better. What else was better? What else is coming out? I bet you it's better.
Let's get into that real quick. With the time we have left, we can go straight into music since we're already talking about music. Yes, I liked Jose, the album by J Balvin. Even though I never understand what they're saying, obviously, because I don't speak Spanish fluently, I just the sounds and like the way the words string together are just so.
Don't you just close your eyes and it takes you to a place where like I'm at some hookah lounge surrounded by a bunch of Mexican girls moving their hips and shit. Like you just
the thing that I like about it, the most is that honestly, I preferred Colores better than Jose, but I will say that
absolutely.
there is you can see the progression of how we all know the natural reggaeton beat. We hear it all the time in almost every Bad Bunny, every J Balvin, every song we hear it that's popular right now. But as they start getting Diplo and Skrillex and DJ Snake and all these other producers to start producing for them, I like the natural progression of how it's going from the basics of what reggaeton is to a more popular urban Latino, where it's like you're not getting those basic beats anymore. You're getting something new and something original, and I like that progression from Jose.
I don't know if anybody else got a chance to listen to it.
I got through the first half of it. Track 2 actually kind of got me, and it's great because track 3 goes right into it. Like it literally pulls from it. So I don't know. It's definitely one of those where I like to sit down and kind of read the words too, because I do understand Spanish, but sometimes when they're singing it, it kind of passes me a little bit. So I do like to kind of read along, and then when I get the lyrics, I'm like, okay, I do fuck with this. You know what I mean?
This reminds me of music that can be played like if there's like some kind of event or party or something, you know?
Yes.
Just like kind of like a maybe even more of a what's the what the fuck is the word, like maybe business
karaoke,
or like no, not karaoke, but like not a casual vibe necessarily, maybe like a little bit more.
Bro, I want to go to a karaoke bar and watch Brandon sing some J Balvin.
Go to a karaoke bar and say y'all got any Donda and watch them just kick you out the bar.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
Moving on from Jose into the Melodic Blue. So I have some choice things to say about Baby Keem, right? So far in my career of listening to Baby Keem, which has only been a couple years, he's been around since like 2019 or something like that. I know he was like a double XL freshman last year or whatever. So I've only really sincerely really enjoyed one song that he's ever made, and it's called Honest. I love that song. It just like everything lined up perfectly for him on that song. I really appreciate that song. The song Orange Soda, I like it just because it's kind of fun and the beginning's stupid, you know. Bitch, sit on my face, I attack that. Like it, you know, it's just it's a dumb lyric. And then I remember seeing this video of like I forget the Pokemon, but it's like it like lazy walks and like it's like listening to that song and it's just kind of funny, right? So I feel like I have to like Melodic Blue because I like Jaden Smith. And let me tell you, I get Jaden Smith vibes all over this album.
I was just about to say, there's definitely some switch ups and some like vibes where it's like, I could hear Jaden on this shit.
But the only problem is I feel like he never quite pinpoints like what he's trying to do or accomplish on the songs. None of them to me stand out except for I think I saved the first two tracks. I think those are like two I saved, end up saving from the album, and a lot of them, especially towards the end, I kind of just started skipping. Like I'd get like halfway through or like 3/4 of the way through and just skip, and it just like he's just like, I feel like he tries to, and I feel like it's this way with a lot of like the younger generation of artists. I feel like he's trying to compensate for lack of maybe like actual lyrics or life experience and replace that with hype. A lot of his delivery is hype, and then that's when I'm just kind of like, all right, you're just kind of saying things. You're not really, there's no real meaning or like depth behind these words. You're just kind of spitting. Even like the whole like everybody's so hype about the top of the morning thing from Kendrick or whatever, and I'm just like, dude, this was lame. Like this
Top of
was
the
not,
morning, top of the morning,
yeah,
top
like
of the
this
morning,
was,
top of the
and I'm like, this was not cool, dude. Like
I'll
I
tell you the
love
one that got me
Kendrick.
though. The one that got me though.
Which
Pussy
one?
ass nigga, you ain't on that shit. Back in the club with a fat ass bitch. Like the thing is though, when you go to read like the intro, like the paragraph at the beginning of the album, they say that he's very much into things that are kind of goofy and this and that. And to be
Yeah,
honest, the reason why I didn't grade it so hard is because when you talk about somebody who's not super serious, who's somebody I really like? I like Mac Dre. And when he did
true.
this song, it kind of reminded me of some of that shit. So I'll agree with you. There was some stuff in this album that I really liked, and I was able to pull a few. But there was some where it's like, yeah, I could pass on this. Yeah, I'll pass on this.
And
But
even
I did listen to everything.
even in like the goofy aspect of his like less serious nature, which is totally fine. I just
Mhm.
think there's people who have executed creating music and sounding great at the same time a lot better, such as like if we, like you said, the example of Mac Dre, that's a great example. Lil Dicky, that's another great example of less serious but still sounding phenomenal, and like the music overall sounds great. There's some, I do like that. It seems like he's got some great beats. That's one thing that I do appreciate.
Yep.
I just feel like he needs to kind of fine tune his like artistry a little bit, and then he'll probably be picking up right after wherever Kendrick leaves off on his next album. He'll be picking up right from there. You know what I mean? And he has obviously as a great example. He has made great music, so I'm sure that at some point he has the ability to make phenomenal songs, rap about serious things. Not that you have to be serious when you rap, but just like he has lyricism. He can write lyrics. I'm sure he can make good music. Obviously, he wouldn't be here for no reason, even though Kendrick is his cousin. But I just feel like it could have been a little bit better, especially with kind of like the theme of it. Look, just like looking like if I'm a brand new Baby Keem listener, let's say if I went to a store, an album was in a store, if that's not that it's a thing anymore, but let's say I go to the rap section, I see the cover of Melodic Blue, and I see Baby Keem on a dock, and there's like a painted rainbow pier or dock or whatever. There's
Mhm.
the lake right there, and he's like looking at he's looking at the camera or whatever. I'm gonna think that this is gonna be kind of more flowy, more a little bit more softer toned. You know what I
Some Lil
mean? Like
Nas X shit.
some, no, not quite that. Maybe he might come out the closet. That's
You
that's a
said a
possibility.
you said a
It's a
rainbow doc, so I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But I'm not in
It's a
favor of that
possibility.
anyway. I already told you guys, as a person who went to Crayola University, I want the rainbow back. The LGBTQ is not finna get away with this shit. Petition. Sign my petition.
But for sure, I mean, I might try to give it another listen again too, because like I said, like
It's
I
the
feel like
beats.
I have to like it because I feel like I hear Jaden on a lot of this stuff.
It's the
But
beats.
we'll see for sure, for
The
sure.
beats knock. That's why when I posted that I was listening to it, I said there's some knock in here. I wasn't sure on the lyrics yet. There's still bits and pieces in here where it's like, okay, I'm down with that line. Okay, I like this. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna keep listening to Pink Panties. Trademark USA. I like the switch ups in here. It didn't really do Kendrick any favors, but to be honest, I think that's purpose because Kendrick's like, why am I gonna shine on your album?
Yeah, I can
And
see
I'm
that.
okay
I
with
can
that.
see that.
I'm okay with that.
I
Apart
could
from
definitely
that,
see that.
yeah, it was at least what I will say is Baby Keem is actually also uh one of the or co-producer on 14 of 16 of those tracks.
Oh, nice.
So regardless of what we want to say, if we're gonna take the Kanye approach where he's a producer, I,
He's involved.
his sounded very nice. I mean,
Yeah.
when you talk about the vocal range, the spacing behind the music, behind the vocals, and the switch ups and just the actual mix, it sounded very high quality. So I'm that's pretty impressive. So even if he doesn't work out as a rapper or artist, whatever he does, and honestly it will, he's already got Kendrick and Don Toliver and Travis Scott as features. So it's like,
Yeah.
what he's supposed to do?
For
He's
real.
gonna be around for a second. We just kind of hope that it picks up pace a little bit, and we'll see where it goes from there. But I feel like we just had to talk about it because it came out, and let's be honest, we're only talking about it because there is a connection to Kendrick. Otherwise, we may have talked about it for a half second. It would have been like, mid, keep it
For
pushing.
sure. Moving on to movie and movie trailers. The Matrix Resurrection, which will be the Matrix 4 trailer, dropped. It looks great. I feel like it's obviously gonna look and probably be better than any Matrix movie that's come out before it. I'm really excited. So far we got, as far as I've seen, the only original cast that's returning is Neo and Trinity. They're reprising their roles. Keanu Reeves and I forget the woman's name. But they're reprising their roles, and everybody else is going to be new characters. Morpheus is being replaced. I think I heard something about them. They're supposed to be younger or something, and like it's I don't know. I know there's the whole.
It's not often you hear somebody say that the fourth movie of something is obviously going to be better.
Oh yeah, it just, well, by looking at it so far, it looks like it's going to be phenomenal. And
I mean,
and
is that just because like the computers can generate better shit nowadays?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
what it is.
definitely.
So is that
'Cause
the major?
if you try to look at the Matrix today, it probably won't suit your eyes just because they have been accustomed to much greater looking things, like even just video game wise. But if you watch the Matrix 4, it's probably going to be a lot more accommodating to you and look way better, potentially way more realistic. And especially now when you realize that there's going to be like a pretty much a 20-year gap in between those three films and this movie. So a lot of technology has come
but
out.
apart from is it CGI? Apart from the CGI, if you were to take these movies into book form, which story would you still say is the best one?
Well, it will depend. But when we actually,
obviously the first one lays down groundwork. So like that's probably
it's
a
foundation.
boost.
Well, for me, so like me personally, when I let's just compare the three movies, right? If I watch the Matrix 1, 2, and 3, the second movie, Matrix Reloaded, is my favorite film. It Neo has kind of realized his role as the one. He's developed a bunch of powers and abilities. A lot of people get highlights, not just like getting their ass beat, but actually overcoming people, fighting agents, fighting other beings that are not just agents. And obviously, there's the whole Mr. Smith thing, learning that getting freed from the coding or whatever, and starting to take over like the whole Matrix, essentially everybody in the Matrix, right? The first Matrix, it was good in its introduction, like you said, it lays on the groundwork, but it kind of sucks because you realize, like, one of the big things you realize is obviously that not only do we have to worry about the machines in this world, you have to worry about the humans, which kind of sucks. It's like, damn, this is like a huge threat. Like, this is human extinction we're talking about here, and you're out here killing humans as a human. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is, to me at least, super unrealistic in that sense. You know what I mean? Like, there's like a handful of us left, and you're gonna go ahead and kill people off. It's stupid. Anyway, continuing from there, Neo doesn't really have any kind of cool abilities or anything. You get to upload the martial arts programs or whatever, and you can do extra things like jump across the skyscrapers, this, that, and the third, learn to fly a helicopter in a couple seconds or whatever, things like that, which are great. Neo has the bullet time situation. Neo and Trinity go into the, not the bank, but that business building or whatever, kill all those soldiers or whatever, right, to save Morpheus. There's cool things that happen, but it's just kind of lackluster when you compare it to the second movie. And the third movie was just eh, if that makes sense, like it just became too over the top by the third movie, and it was just like, all right, cool, we're watching this for the quote unquote conclusion, even though now we know it's not the conclusion. There's still more to the story.
But were you watching them as a kid, a teenager, or an
It's
adult?
definitely both. I don't think I've watched the movies as an adult besides like the first one, because more so I just watched the scenes. And right now I'm actually following this Facebook page that for the next 20 years they are uploading a still frame from the fight between Mr. Smith and Neo in that the little like community park or whatever in the Matrix Reloaded. They're uploading one still frame from that movie every day for the next 20 years. So then every time they upload a picture, somebody goes, "Look, these neurokinetics are off the charts," because like that's like one of the lines in like the fucking in the Matrix films. Like, it's fucking stupid, but I like them. I like them a lot. I've thought about them, looked up theories and shit like that. So I'm definitely excited for this movie to come out and just kind of see what's going on now, because obviously it seems to be a restart. Like Neo, it doesn't just appear to be Neo right away. So and it looks like something's going on with Trinity too. So I don't know why are these two people back? Go ahead.
question. Now that
Go
we
ahead.
have a few Keanu Reeves movies going into some deeper chapters, uh, would you rate the Matrix series higher than the John Wick series?
Hell no.
No,
Well,
no,
mm,
I wouldn't. I wouldn't do for the whole entire, like just how you say when you got to the third one, you were like, eh. We all saw the all
Wick's
them
still
John
picking
Wicks.
up, huh?
We was
Wick's still picking up.
so like
that
John
was
Wick
just one.
is
I just wanted to know real quick. You know,
John Wick has done a very great job of escalating the situation and the threat levels and kind of like continuing the storyline without it being too over the top. Like we understand, we've established in the beginning that he is that guy, he is that nigga. So
that
like
dude, yo.
people try to, you need a fucking like a whole force to try to combat him, and even then it still doesn't work. Even at the end of the third movie, spoiler alert potentially for John Wick Chapter 3, they sent in a bunch of guys that are pretty much fully armored from head to toe, and he like he's making it work with the tools he has. Goes back to get a different gun and comes back out, and then he gets a little bit of help, and then keeps going. He's just that great, and it's not like it's not necessarily things that are like it's obviously it's unrealistic, but it's like it's things that it's like, man, he's barely making this work. He's go ahead and come in if you need to come in. He's making this work just barely. He's making it. He's surviving just barely, and keeps having to go to the next thing or whatever, right? And and I think that's what makes those movies great. But overall action, I feel like I would have to give the edge to the Matrix personally, just because the action sequences in there are just like phenomenal. Like the high speed martial arts, the way they
What
can
if
just.
I had a crazy idea, right?
You're probably
Because
going
you,
to say the same thing that a lot of people say. Are you going to talk about John Wick and Matrix?
damn it.
Yeah.
What
Not
if?
so deep
What
this
if
time,
Neo?
is it? What if Neo was just John Wick this whole time? Like yeah.
Yeah,
whole
that's
time was
100%.
It's just seeing the hair, and I was just like, you look like you just stepped off the bank.
You might have to wait an extra 20 years for that one when Keanu's
first-
like 80.
The first scene in the new Matrix movie is going to be Baba Yaga.
I'm not
Well,
gonna lie.
they're coming out the same day.
Keanu's one of those guys I feel like he can get really old and still make good movies. Like what's his name?
Like Tom Cruise. He's like
No,
57.
No. Older. Like what's his name from the Western
Older?
movies? Yeah, what's his name? The one from Gran Torino.
Oh, you're talking about
Are you talking about
Eastwood?
Clint
Yeah,
Eastwood?
Eastwood's a badass.
Oh my God.
Can you think? Imagine John Wick at 75 in a
Crazy.
gangster Asian neighborhood. Oh yeah, I'm ready.
I don't know if there's a delay in this audio, but you and I said that at the same time. So Jinx, you owe me something.
Wow. That sounds weird. Just
Think
say
we're good.
Coke, man. Don't say something. That's weird.
Oh no, you
DC
owe me a
animated
little
film?
something.
Wow. The DC
You
animated
owe him.
film-
You owe him Christian McCaffrey for that. Okay.
Oh my god. Okay.
Not that you guys
Shit,
let it
that's gonna-
happen.
that's gonna- yeah, if it would have happened, I would be fine.
Vito. Hey,
we
Vito ain't
also-
just an Italian name. You know what I'm saying?
We also have the DC animated film Injustice coming out, which looks like it's actually going to be not just about the aftermath, but the beginning of how it happens, how Superman kind of comes into power and starts kind of fear mongering the planet, and the death of the Joker and this, that, and the third. So be looking for that to come out.
Is that from
soon.
Snyder?
No, it's their animated films. All the DC, so like DC animated films have, like how there's the MCU, right? Pretty much Marvel has been rocking the live action stuff. DC has been rocking the animated stuff. They have a bunch of films that are connected actually, which are really
We talked
great.
about it before.
And yes, we have. And then this is just another one that they're making. It's a, I guess it's technically an Elseworlds story. It doesn't take place in the original continuity or the main continuity of like DC continuity or whatever. It's a different continuity if that makes sense. Whatever, not a big deal. And then finally we had the for gaming news, we had the PlayStation Showcase. Some fucking phenomenal announcements. I know Xbox players are fucking sick to their stomachs right now. First and foremost, we got teaser trailers for Spider-Man 2 and for Wolverine, and they have both been announced to be PlayStation exclusives, which is fucking phenomenal. We get to be it's officially slated that we get to be Miles Morales and Peter Parker, who also seems to have got some upgrades on his suits, which looks
Which
great.
Peter Parker?
It's going to be the one from the last game that came out. We fans are theorizing or saying that they hear Craven in the background. There's somebody narrating the trailer, and I believe it's also Craven the Hunter. And also we get our first glimpse at Venom, which has kind of been like the big thing in the at the end of the original Spider-Man game, and there was like another scene, a bonus scene at the end of Spider-Man Miles Morales. So it's kind of like the big culminating thing or whatever, right? I think Wolverine hasn't been announced. The release date hasn't been announced, but Spider-Man is slated to come out in 2023. So they're letting us know way ahead of time. You know what they're doing with this. And then we also got some gameplay and cinematic a trailer for God of War Ragnarok. Let me
Which
tell
looks
you what.
amazing. That looks amazing.
It looks absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait to get the next installment. It
Okay,
is also
I actually saw this, and I'm not really into the story mode type of games like this, but I did see that one, and that shit does look hard. So I might actually hop on that one with you guys.
so God of War for PS4, the one that came out, it got a lot of steam. Obviously, a lot of people liked it. A lot of people. So like God of War is usually kind of like a hack and slash. You know, he gets these two blades, he fucks up a lot of bosses. There's a lot of blood, maybe a sex scene or two, and then that's it or whatever. Right?
Oh,
God
really?
of War 4
Nice.
had a really like prominent storyline. The
Yes.
combat was great. Introducing the Leviathan axe was great. We got a whole new plethora of characters, you know, stemming from Norse mythology. And then we got to, you know, the combat was pretty pristine too. There's a lot of upgrade capabilities. You get to be Kratos while also seemingly commanding his son Atreus. There was plenty of action throughout the whole game, plenty of like badass moments, literally plenty of badass energy from start to finish of that game. It was great. It was excellent. And there's of course heartwarming sections of the game because I mean, spoiler alert for those who haven't played God of War PS4. You know, you start off with trying to honor Atreus' mother. You know, you go on an adventure. It's kind of like that story of like my dad never really talked to me. My mom kind of dealt with me the whole time, and now it's just me and my dad. And you know, a father and son kind of like getting a relationship together. He's always calling him boy at first until eventually he does call him by his name, and he's teaching him. He's making him learn things. You know, like you see Atreus getting stronger and stronger as time goes on. You see them go into more experiences. You also see Atreus developing his father's sense, his Spartan rage. You know, you see him getting in those moments where he's just like, I'll fuck everybody up, I'll kill whatever, I don't give a fuck, you know, like, and you're like, oh, that is his son, you know, like, oh shit, watch out. So it's an interesting storyline. And then the second game has also been announced that it's going to be the end of the Norse mythology chapter, making it a duology. And the end of like visiting like the 9 realms and all that stuff, right? For the Norse mythology, we're getting Thor, we're getting Tyr, we're getting a bunch of other characters and old characters from the last game. And
Are we getting Heimdall?
Back.
Maybe
It
we'll
could
see.
be.
We will see. Yeah.
Considering the fact that like we said, they did talk about. So we went through. It was like Greek mythology first, right? So he first went through Greek mythology in the first 3 games. In this fourth one, he is now in this 4th and 5th game. He is now going through the Norse mythology. A lot of people are talking about how first of all he's going through these type of like how he jumped mythologies, and now he's gonna might go to another one following 6, because I don't think that they're gonna stop after this God of War. They took like a 7 to 8 year hiatus between 3 and 4, and they're coming back, and there's so much hype, like even just the hype for Thor, and he wasn't even in the first game or in the first part of this duology. So there's a lot of hype for this game, a lot of hype, and I'm excited for it as well.
Yeah. And then we also got an announcement and a kind of little teaser that Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is being remade, and it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, a PlayStation timed exclusive, meaning it's basically going to be, which is like people have kind of found this a little bit ironic that when the game originally came out, it was only for Xbox, and now PlayStation is getting the exclusive part of it, but it's only going to be like for like a year or so, and then of course it's going to be released on Xbox as well. But it's you know, a lot of people who have been.
But it's only next gen though, huh?
So Spider-Man and Wolverine have been announced to be PlayStation 5 exclusives. God of War Ragnarok has been announced to be for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and it's also coming out next year. And then Knights of the Old Republic, I don't believe that it has been stated if it's going to be PlayStation 5 exclusive. I'm pretty sure it's going to be for PS4 and PS5 though.
You do have to keep in mind though.
Has PlayStation 5 been out for a year already?
Yes.
Like September of last year?
It was November of last year.
Almost. Oh, okay, so not quite.
because it came out
Damn, been a
right
while,
before
huh?
the holiday season. But I mean, the thing about it too is, unfortunately, talking about the PS4 to PS5, Sony did announce, I think it was like recently, not even a couple of weeks ago, that there will no longer be providing the service for PS4 to PS5 upgrades. So I know a lot of the games when the system first came out, people were getting upgrades for like, oh, you bought the PS4 version of Madden or the PS4 version of all these games, you got the upgrade for free.
When
And
does that
now,
start?
unfortunately, I think it starts at the end of this year, or if not, if it
They
hasn't
shouldn't.
started already, I think that it starts at the end of this year, where they will no longer allow for free upgrade to the next system once you
That's
remember-
once you
bullcrap.
buy
They shouldn't
the
even
game.
allow that implementation because they're not even available in all these damn stores.
Well, I know PlayStation has said that they're trying to eliminate, like, phase out the PS4 faster than they've done in the
Then make the
next gen in the
PS5
past.
available.
So yeah,
That's what good. That's the way to start right there. Make
For
the shit
sure.
available, bro.
But,
Well, you saw that.
yeah.
You saw that ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal. I mean, you're the one that said it.
Yeah, it
There's
was
all the
a second
PS5s
one,
right there.
but they but this time it wasn't stuck for 13 days or whatever it was. They got it out
Yeah.
in a few hours. But
Well, they learned.
were you about to
Lessons
wrap
learned.
up, Daniel? I mean, Brendan, were you about to wrap it up?
Yeah,
There was
I don't-
one thing we missed, I think.
Go ahead.
I don't think we brought up the versus battle between Ja Rule
the
and
Ja
Fat
Rule
Joe.
versus
That's been
Fat
agreed
Joe.
to.
Oh my god.
I know. I just want to say straight up, we know who's got the bigger hits at least the peak of their hits. Which one is bigger? And that's Ja Rule. Even
For
though
sure.
they're all mainly features with women, Ashanti, J Lo. You know, like we know. Always on time. What's love got to do? I'm real. Put it on me.
And
Mesmerize.
he got one song, bro, that
Living
goes
it
to
up.
this
Say
day.
what
No, not that one.
do
It's
I do? You know.
no. It's a different one. Why me and you had to meet, talk, and
Wow.
get caught up. That song still go today, fam. I turned that on the other day, and I was like, yo. This
When I
is
saw
like it could have
that-
came out this year.
What I'm
When-
saying is both of these guys don't have 20 songs.
When I
Neither of
looked
them.
at this originally, my idea was basically kind of like you said. I think that Ja Rule definitely has more hits,
Memorable
more
hits.
memorable hits that people were going to vibe to.
But
But I feel like Fat Joe has been making way more music, and even has been making music to this day. Where Ja Rule has definitely fizzled out. He's not dropping music, at least music that is like kind of like people are
exactly.
like, oh, Ja Rule's new album just came out. People
And-
are still talking about the Fat Joe album just came out last year.
and
or
let's
whatever, you know?
let's not forget, Fat Joe is a real spitter.
Yeah,
So when
yeah.
you talk about in a versus battle, we saw what the Locks did to Dipset. We saw, and what I'm saying is, even if people don't think, oh, Fat Joe don't got his Fat Joe's gonna go into the back of the back room. He's gonna find some old shit where like people don't remember this shit from '97, but I got me and Big Pun on this. I got me and Big L on this. You guys ain't fucking with me, especially when I spit it out here, because all Ja Rule gonna do is his little short man complex up on the stage. Do I do? What would I be without you? Like nobody's trying to. We can't hear that 5 times in a row. So
Yo, what do you think is
lean back.
Ja Rule's rebuttal to lean back?
Well, what I'm saying is, Ja Rule's best 5 songs are going to be a little bit better than Fat Joe's best 5 songs. Like I'm talking in mass appeal wise. But at the end of the verses, when you have 20, am I gonna get tired of listening to this raspy ass voice, or do I want to still hear Fat Joe like show out and be like, "Damn, Joe, where you been hiding? You just been doing the podcast." You know what I mean?
I think at the end they're just gonna collab at the end
Because they've worked
it's
together.
gonna be they're gonna collab at the end. It's gonna I'm from New York.
Oh my
Exactly.
God.
and they got the song "What's Love" is literally Fat Joe and Ja Rule on there.
Right.
So they've worked. It's not like they're actually battling. It's just more like we got respect because everybody knows the one we want to see is Ja Rule and 50 Cent. And let's be honest,
Oh yeah.
Ja Rule ain't got the hits. Like 50 Cent could literally just play "Get Rich or Die Trying" and
It'll be over.
it'd be over. So, like, so this
Baby,
is what
it's
we
your
got.
body, your body, your body.
But either way, this is one where I'm probably not gonna watch, but I'm gonna get the highlights from it and check out a shortened 15-minute YouTube video 7 hours after it's over. So
For sure.
but I just wanted to know who you guys think would kind of quote unquote win, I guess.
I say Fat Joe.
Yeah, I could bringing up the points where you talk about having somebody like Big Pun and Big L on there, like
And
especially
actually spitting.
where is it going to be held at too? If it's held in the middle of New York and you bring out a song with Big Pun and Big L, Ja Rule ain't got that. You're done.
That's true. I'm just really worried about once Ja Rule, like when it comes to the Ja Rule songs that you don't know or you forgot and you're listening to them again, are they going to be as impressive as the Fat Joe songs that you don't know that you're either going to be listening to the first time or again in a while? You know what I'm saying? And I just think for the person who's actually more skilled on the mic, I think has the better chance to show out more. So even though I think the 5 songs I named by Ja Rule are definitely going to be like, damn, that was a radio hit. That was, yeah, Ja Rule, you had a great 2002, my guy. It was a great year for you. But Fat Joe, like we said, he's on a hit song right now with Cardi B, is he not?
I'm not
I
tracking.
believe
I'm
so.
not tracking.
So you know, we'll see Joey Crack. You know, I gotta support the
Hey.
chunky Latino.
All Fat Joe gonna do is pull out that one song with Eminem on it, talk about Nick Cannon, and it's over.
Oh my gosh.
Well, alrighty, piglets. This has been another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Culture by the Uncultured, one word. Remember, piglets, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We hope everyone out there is staying safe, and if you can be safe, be deadly. Catch you guys next time. Later.